You know what it is, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
You know who it is, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Ode, Maurice, Ode, Maurice.
Maurice, Ode, Maurice, Ode.
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy, black and snurdy. It's the Black and Snurdy podcast with Ode and Maurice.
We're here. We're
Yeah.
queer.
Yes.
Get used to it.
Yay! Shout out to us.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Good. I'm a little hungry.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell.
How can you tell?
Well, one, because you have this like look in your eye whenever like you need to have food. So, and I've been around you long enough to sort of be able to tell that like when that glint is in your eye that you need to be satiated.
That you're not wrong.
Yeah. So
Fun fact, I have been known when I'm hungry to get like feverish.
oh, really?
Yeah, when I was little, the first time that I can remember it happening, I was like 5 or 6. We were going to see the Rockettes during Easter. There was some Rockefeller Center. They were having like a Rockettes Easter or something, whatever, going on. And I remember distinctly, like, my mom had given us her Easter baskets because she was super on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a bag of those, like, you know, fun size Cheez-Its before we left the house. We get to the place. The show is probably, let's say it's 2 or 3 hours, average amount for a show.
Yeah.
By the time that 2 or 3 hours finished, I wasn't the type of child to like melt down, but everyone knew there was something going on with me because I was quiet. And as you could tell, I'm rarely crying.
That is both. I don't know. That's true, but like I've seen you in. You know,
As an adult,
I'll say this. Like when you are quiet for a reason, it is palpable.
Yes.
But you have been known to go
sometimes
with
I'm not
stretches
constantly
of
a
silence.
chatty Cathy, but
Yeah.
if you could imagine me as a child, more often than not, if I'm quiet, there's something going on.
Yeah. I don't know if we'd be friends if you were like that chatty.
I'm pretty chatty, but you know, it has its limits.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I remember my mom like touching my forehead, and she was like, "What's going on with you? Are you okay?" Like, and I was like, "I don't know." I felt weak. I was hot. And then literally we were in the city, so I remember we'd go out to eat. I don't remember where it was. It might have been Serendipity's because we used to go there a lot of times.
Okay.
Let's say we go to Serendipity's, and literally the moment that whatever bread something hit my tongue, my complete mood changed. And it just, I feel like that was the first time that anyone ever really noticed that when I get hungry, like for an extended period of time, like there's not an in between. You know that meme where it's like, once I've said I'm hungry, you got about 25 minutes before I change to another person? Mm-hmm. That is me.
So, like, is this something that you've always known about yourself, or is this something that, like, you...
No, I've always known this.
Okay, so for somebody who, like,
Forgets to eat all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forget to... But this is the way that my ADHD trolls me. I will forget to eat, and I will not like, it'll be, like, hours have gone by, and all of a sudden I'll be like, why do I feel like I'm going to faint? And then I'll remember... Oh, right. Every single time I walked into the kitchen to get a snack, I got distracted by something and went back and left. Mm-hmm. And so I do know this about myself, but like most things, I forget.
I would like to see you on like a show like Survivor or like Naked and Afraid or like Dropped in the Wilderness and stuff, because like in a situation where like... where survival is key, I wonder how often you would still forget to eat and then end up with this, fever?
I feel like that's good. I feel like I'm not sure because I feel like the reason why I forget to eat is because I'm so busy. But by that time, I wouldn't be busy. I'd be just sitting there naked and afraid.
There would be nothing to do except just be out with your bird's nest just out for all of the world to expose to deoxidation of fucking pubes and whatnot.
Ew. Why are you?
What?
First of all, the deoxidation of pubes.
I'm throwing words at the wall.
I can see.
Jesus, it doesn't matter. Okay, so how about while you scroll through Uber Eats to figure out?
Tell everybody my business.
It's not a business thing. It's more of like I can. You know how I can tell?
Because I'm sitting in front of you, scrolling through Uber Eats.
That and also, who are we?
Well, yes. I'm really having a hard time because I've been on a sushi kick this week. It's been delicious. Sometimes I won't go. I'll go a long time without eating sushi, and then all of a sudden, I'll just be like, I need it.
Right.
And I feel like I've been doing that this week, and I'm like, I feel like I should eat something else besides sushi.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, probably. You should probably get something that's going to be more filling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying that's probably the case. And
it is the case.
Even going to be worse because you're also a little bit indecisive. So a
little bit. I'm glad you gave me a little bit.
I'm giving you some credit because I knew you would have jumped down my throat if I just said off the rip that you were indecisive.
I wouldn't have jumped.
Well, in that case, I will take the reins on this and say that we are. Well, there's a bunch of things that you forgot, especially the fact that I'm Maurice.
And I'm Odie.
And this is the Black and Snurdy podcast. Hence why I said, who are we?
You do this all the time instead of just doing it. And you know that I'm going to forget. And I feel like you're trolling me at some point.
Is it trolling to see how far we can make it into? It's 7 minutes, by the way.
I think it is trolling.
7 minutes into the podcast.
You knew that I wasn't going to think about it.
I even gave you a hint by saying, who are we?
You think that I don't live in hints, okay? You got to be clear and direct.
It's the first thing that we do every podcast.
And how many times at the beginning of the podcast do I forget?
Listeners, send an email to the Black and Sturdy Podcast at gmail.com and let us know a running count of how many times Odie has forgotten to do the intro. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to start off with some icebreakers since it's been some time since we've done the podcast on a regular basis. So we're kind of easing our way back into a routine. Plus, this will be a nice little way to both get to know each other and also just ease our way into podcasting and talk about the bullshit.
And y'all getting to know us.
Yes, and look, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. Okay. I was gonna pull that up as a song, but I won't. In fact, the first thing that came up was getting tipsy. So
everybody in the club
getting tipsy.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Did I tell you I met him randomly? Freshman
who was that? Jaquan.
Is it Jaquan?
Yeah. I called it before I even pulled it up.
Okay, maybe it wasn't him. It was Chingy.
Chingy is everybody. No, wait, no. Jaquan is tipsy, and wait, yeah, right? Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Everybody in the club getting, yes.
Yeah. So then, why is there a Chingy thing that comes up second? Everybody, maybe there's a remix.
You know what? Could be.
Yeah, this is definitely a Jaquan song. Anyhow, you met Chingy.
I met Chingy randomly.
Okay, he just randomly
It was in the bottom of the school seat.
It would be on campus.
He and his entourage were coming back from WHUR, and when they passed me, I guess I did not
recognize Chingy.
Recognize him enough, so they were staring at me to be like, when is she gonna scream? And I'm like, first of all, you have both your eyes. I don't know.
What the? You're thinking of Houston.
Oh shit.
You're thinking of Houston. It was Houston who notoriously had...
You are correct.
Poked out his eye. Chingy is the one who, I think, beefed with Nelly.
Oh, Wow.
And
All right.
had, I think, 2 very similar songs with Tyrese.
Probably.
Oh, no. No. Okay, so here it is. Tyrese has 2 similar songs. One with Chingy and one with somebody else. Like, one is like, if you were my baby, you gon' roll with me.
Oh, yeah.
You were my lady. And then the other one that sounds similar is Tyrese's Every Time I Try to Leave, something keeps pulling me back, cause I need you in my life. And I'm just like, those songs are basically the same goddamn song.
Do you know that my ex-boyfriend in high school, he put that on his, we got into a fight, and he put that on his MySpace.
What? I'm so glad I did that before the podcast even started because I just knew I had an inkling. Okay.
You had an inkling. All right.
All right. So you ready for these questions?
Okay. Tell them about these questions. You already give.
Lord.
Did you give a
I know
little
that you have. Yeah, I did it. I did the introduction.
Okay, great.
What's your favorite way to get the daily news?
Oh, well, my phone using Twitter.
Yeah, I was about to say
The
like
New York Times.
Okay, New York Times. Twitter.
And then I have like my Discords.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
My Black Girl Create Discord.
Yeah, so for me, it's a combination of Twitter and my family group chat.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be careful what I say, but I have very active aunts who will throw some news articles in the world in the group chat. Followed by, their thoughts and opinions about like how the world is on fire and how, somebody must have just died, or not must have just died, but like, usually it's like if who was a recent one? Betty White.
Oh yeah, all right.
And celebs. So like it's either celeb deaths or something crazy happened in the news that was like, weird or weather. Or weather related, like just like I can't believe how crazy it's in the 70s this weekend, but yesterday it was in the 30s, like something along those lines. So, and I do enjoy like reading those. I don't engage as much in the family group chat anymore.
How come?
It's just like it's one of those rolling things throughout the day that like I could definitely get lost in, and like my level of engagement. You have to hear my voice in order to know just what level of sarcasm and cynicism I'm bringing into the text. Because if you do not like hear me in a long time, it'll just seem like a very
Like you're coming for you?
Yeah.
Well, you generally are. So.
Well, I'm not coming for my family. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I literally was just sitting up here looking at my text messages and just being like,
yes,
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. But shout out again to my sister. Congratulations. She moved into her home. My family went down. I was unable to join them.
And let it be known that I did say.
Okay. All right.
Help
Chill.
would have been made.
This first and foremost. The timing did not work out, and there were some financial constraints, okay? And I already explained that to them. Yeah, I explained to them that there were timing and financial constraints that prevented me from being able to. I would have loved to go down there and, like, help move the freaking armoire from one location to another. I totally, and shout out to my nephew because today is his birthday.
Happy birthday!
Turned 15 today. He's a whole man. You know.
Not a whole one.
Well, he's fine. Part of one. He's somewhat. He could
somewhat.
I think he can drive now.
No, he's 15. You could drive at 16.
Well, he's learning how to, I think, at least.
So, okay, that works.
Anyhow, shout out to him. Shout out to my sister. Shout out to all the family members who helped in the move. And I'm sure it was a lovely, lovely time. Next question. If you were given any car to cherish for the rest of your life, which would you choose?
Oh, this is a good one. Because most recently, my car that I would like is the Jeep Wrangler.
You in a Jeep?
First of all, what the fuck do you mean, me in a Jeep?
I'm just saying, like, that's a very surprising answer.
Why?
You in a Jeep? Why
Well, this
a
is
Jeep?
Well, so I love the way that it looks, for one.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to be able to ride with my arms out
Of
like
course,
this.
there you are, because you watched Clueless growing up in
Yes,
the fucking 90s.
and duh.
There we go.
Duh.
Mm-hmm.
And I want my Jeep Wrangler to be special. I want it to be a hybrid of like solar, wind, and gas, maybe air, energy, wind technology. I don't know. I want all the different ones in there because gas right now is, first of all, we're going to talk about this war a little bit, but the gas is going up. It was $3.75 just last weekend. Mm-hmm. Like, I won't be surprised if it shoots back up to like $4.50. Because remember when we were in high school, when we were in war with in the Middle East,
right? How
high gas was, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get back up there. But I want it to be purple.
Okay, well,
it's going to be purple outside.
I was going to say, like, I'm going to ground you a little bit with like some levels of realism. So let's stay with the Jeep, a purple Jeep. Okay. An existing style of car
but
currently
they
exists.
currently have the hybrid model.
Okay, they have a hybrid model.
Of electric / gas.
It's not solar, wind.
It's electric and gas.
Earth and fire.
But it's 2 out of the 4.
Okay, sure.
And so that one, and then that's my favorite one. That's what I was like. What about you?
I clearly grew up in a specific time because my car of choice would have been a Chrysler 300C.
Oh, goodness.
That was the car that a family friend drove me and my high school sweetheart to junior prom in. They rented that car. It was a really nice car. I liked it. I loved it. And ever since then, I was like, that's going to be my very first car. Now, mind you, Chrysler 300Cs have fallen out of favor. They might as well be like the way that everybody in the 70s loved Cadillacs or anything like that. I don't know if like they're as classic as that, but or like the way that everybody in like the early 2000s was rolling around on a fucking Xterra. But it still holds a very important place in my heart, and I would love to just have one. And maybe color wise, I'm thinking maybe because I don't mauve.
You mean the ugly burgundy?
Call it a mauve Avenger.
All right,
just like Hey Arnold. Okay. Oh, well, this one's an anticlimactic question.
You want to change it on the spot?
Nah, it's fine. Who was the best James Bond? Which you don't even know. So,
first of all, you don't know what I know.
I know that you don't know, like, all
you
of the fucking...
You don't know what I know.
Name 3 James Bonds right now.
Sean Connery.
Sean. Go. Next.
Pierce Bronson.
Oh boy, could you say his name right once? Pierce Brosnan.
And
the most recent one. I figured you would name the most recent one first, working backwards.
Oh, fuck. I know his name.
It's the most generic name, white guy name
God, and the
you
thing
could
is,
possibly name.
I know him, but I personally don't find his James Bond to be like that exciting compared to the other ones from our youth. I'm not going to look it up.
Okay.
But I know who he is. But he just did. Wait, did you see the last James Bond?
No, I didn't.
About it?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Do you know the spoilers?
Yes, I know the spoilers.
Okay, spoiler alert. I know he dies. In his most recent one.
He is dead.
And I just cannot remember his name. Wow.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
Dan? That's your hit.
That's his part of his name?
Yes, it is.
That's a fucking terrible hint.
And it's a terrible name.
Well,
Like,
what's his name? I'm thinking now. When you said Dan, now I'm thinking of Lucifer. And I mean,
Lord.
I know I know it's not him. It's just that's all it made me think of.
Oh, there you go. It's Daniel Craig.
Oh, yeah. Super white boy.
Yes, it is.
Random British name.
Yes.
But he's definitely not. He wouldn't have been in my top 3. It would have only been top 2, Sean Connery and Pierce Brosnan, because the ones from the 70s and 80s, or whenever that movie first came out.
The Roger Moores and the
Roger
Timothy
Moore.
Daltons.
There we are. Like I've seen those ones, but not in a very, very long time.
Yeah,
so
I grew up with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, that was the first. I remember.
GoldenEye.
What year did GoldenEye come out? Because I remember seeing that.
I feel like that came out in 96 or 97.
I feel like that was the first one I ever saw.
GoldenEye 95. Oh.
Yeah, that was definitely
Price
was
is
one.
Right rules. I would have been done.
That's the first one I saw because I either saw it with my dad on his weekend or my mom with one of her weekend stuff she would take. We would always watch the movies.
Of course, yeah. But yeah. So I'm going with Pierce Brosnan because that was what I grew up with.
Same.
And yeah. So,
and he was the first one. Well, he had Halle Berry in his.
Yes, he did.
And she was looking beautiful as a golden girl.
She was fine as all get out.
And still looks the same today.
Yeah. Oh, did you see her in Bruised?
I still have to watch Bruised. Now that I know there's a lesbian sex scene, I think that I would like to watch it more.
What a fun movie that was put on for Thanksgiving.
Oh, God. I mean, now that I know that makes it even more awkward. But fun fact, did you know that Angela Bassett was contacted for the role that Halle Berry played in Monsters Ball?
Really?
But she turned it down because of the whole, the
sex scene?
Probably because, the depiction of black women.
Yeah, I honestly...
I can see that.
Good for her. Good that, we didn't see her pop up until Black Panther, so...
What do you mean we didn't see her pop up?
As in, she stayed back for a little bit.
I'm a bit confused to your term of stayed back and Angela Bassett because I feel like she's been pretty
consistently acting and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up her IMDb
because I feel
like she wasn't around for a good decade, and then she just.
I mean, perhaps with her kids, but I don't think there ever was a real time of her staying back. But you can look it up.
That's not to say that she wasn't getting work or anything. I'm saying that it was probably a choice. She was like, I'm not going to take this role. This. Well,
she the same way that I think that she
was probably turning down roles left and right.
Angela Bassett,
and then she was like, yeah, I'll play a queen of a fucking sci-fi African nation. Hell yeah.
I think that Angela Bassett and Halle Berry have a different trajectory in Hollywood.
Or the queen mother.
Because of the fact that, regardless of what anyone wants to say, a dark-skinned woman in Hollywood versus a light-skinned woman in Hollywood, regardless of what your race is always going to be perceived in a different way. So you have to be...
I'm sure Thandie Newton has a thought or two about that. I'm sure she could probably weigh in on this topic in one way, shape, or form.
Oh, man.
That is Thandie Newton, right?
It is.
Okay,
no,
good.
You're 100%.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That right. She's just, and she's sorry that she took away she's taking our roles and our men.
Well, look, listen,
she had to apologize.
At least she's out here apologizing in a better way than the fucking Aquafinas of the world. Just giving non-apologies and everything like that. Something that we never talked about, but it doesn't even matter right now because we're about to slide on into our pop culture section.
Well,
so what do we got on the docket for this week?
There's so much going on.
There's so much going on this week. Actually, this felt, other than the obvious world's on fire thing that
this world is on fire. Okay, I'm sorry.
Actually not do that again. But obviously, other than that, it seemed kind of like a light week when it came to actual pop culture stuff.
And then maybe I couldn't say that I necessarily saw anything crazy going on in the world outside
the obvious.
But maybe it's because I wasn't paying attention to anything outside of the obvious. But okay, do you want to start with the shenanigans, or do you want to start with
let's get the serious shit out the way so that we can at least end on some shenanigans. I'd rather.
When you say serious,
okay.
I don't know what you mean now.
Let's address the elephant in the room. How about that? Does that make more sense? Yeah. The fucking. Oh, you want to end on that?
Yeah, we're gonna end on that part because there's so much to talk about. We won't get to anything else.
We have to segue from that to mental health.
Well, hey, it'll be right in line with what I'm gonna talk about.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
All right.
Fine.
People are a bit upset because on February 18th, Netflix announced that your friend and buddy, Dave Chappelle, will be hosting and producing 4 specials focusing on veteran comedians entitled Chappelle's Home Team.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, social media backlash about that. And I'm just curious, what are your thoughts? Do you want to watch this thing? Do you want to hear about it? It's not Dave Chappelle. Mm-hmm. He's gonna have other veteran comics on there.
Yeah, so I see it a lot like when Kevin Hart presented the Plastic Cup Boys. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I didn't really watch it that much, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I see it as like a veteran comedian using his platform to give the spotlight to other comedians who maybe don't get the spotlight or anything like that. I see it as a net positive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all things considered, I don't necessarily know if I want to hear, especially his last comedy special.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, when he
just terrible.
When he just showed up at the
and said the same jokes he's been saying for the last how long? 2-3 years.
Okay, well, stomped all over my joke.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I was gonna say when he showed up at the city council office and made the joke about how he's going to take all of his money out of Ohio or wherever the fuck he's from, if they not in my backyard, not in my backyard again. Ass motherfucker. But yeah, no, I see it as a net good.
Uh-huh.
I'll probably check them out. Because look, man, I'm not. It's not like I'm starving for comedy. We just got finished looking at
Amy Wong. Ali Wong.
Ali Wong. Yeah.
I was mixing her up
with Amy Schumer.
Yeah, because when you had talked about
Ali Wong was the good one. Was the better one who did a special while she was pregnant. So.
But also, who was that guy that we were just looking at the trailer for? The British guy?
Mo Gilligan.
That little 5-minute trailer, however long that was, I want to tell you.
Shout out to Mo Gilligan.
Looks better than the 2-hour fucking long bullshit that was the last Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So, I'm here for that.
Mm-hmm. I definitely, I'm curious as to, I'm curious as to which comedians that he's going to choose.
Mm-hmm. Do you have let's say there's 4 of them. So there's 4 shows, specials.
I don't think Godfrey has a special yet. He's been working for decades at this point.
Yeah, yes.
It'd be interesting to see a Godfrey.
Godfrey would be pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. Godfrey,
let's see who else. Let's see what about some veteran women comics.
Okay.
Some more.
Can't.
Maybe.
Yes.
Sherry Shepherd, maybe.
I don't know if I want to see Sherry Shepherd's special. I feel like she's become.
Do you think
so
Monique?
Commercial? Well, he's not there. That would be that would be hilarious.
If he put
I'm not
Monique,
gonna lie, that would be hilarious if it somehow, some way.
If you want to get back the love of the black community,
would just backdoor Monique into a comedy special that he produced.
Yeah.
Yo, that would actually be fucking
That's
fire.
Where using your platform.
Kind of. Yeah.
It would be use your platform for something.
It would go up 20%.
And now it's at 0. So,
yeah.
It would work.
Yeah.
Put Monique on the show. Yes. Even though she has her little problems, but she still, overall, is a funny woman. We can never deny Monique's additions to comedy.
Yeah.
Let's think. Okay, who else?
I can't think of anybody right now. It's been a minute since I haven't
just
done
trying to think
stand-up
about
in a minute.
Old school black comics that are still alive.
Well, you know he's gonna have like at least one white dude.
I don't want who? What the fuck is his name? What's the one? Damn,
Gary Ribs.
Gary or whatever his name is.
No, not Gary Owens. He's not gonna have Gary Owens.
Please
doing a fucking
don't.
special. There's no way that Gary Owens has like one on Showtime. I
But
think.
we don't want it. Just to remind you, don't put him on there. It was cute when he was in the 90s.
I'm a white guy who's on Comic View and I date a black woman.
And now.
And then I cheated on her or something. I forget what the story was.
Whatever it is.
I don't know if he cheated. I remember something was up with that. And I was just like, well, of course. Like, this is what happens when you, like, you know, give a little bit too much power to the one white dude in the black culture. You know what I mean?
Him and who's that other guy? Did you see on social media he had got hit by a snowball, and he was asking people to like find the person who's threw the snowball. No. Damn, it's not Gary Owens, but it's that other white guy who's always in those movies of like, I'm the white guy who loves black girls.
I absolutely don't know. I just got finished watching a U.S. drill with some white child who looked mad out of place. He looked like he should be collecting Pokemon cards instead of like hanging around a bunch of goons. And I mean like literally
they were literally
they had guns and shit. Like that's what I mean.
Were.
Like they're just like
they were. Okay, so moving on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Summer Walker, one of our R&B faves of the new generation.
Shout out to Summer. Oops. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I
pushed the wrong thing.
You might want to have. I don't know how you're gonna feel about this, but you might want to have that other one prepared. So you know that she's been on hiatus for a little bit. She had her baby. She broke up with London on the Track, Paris, De La Gord, whatever his name is.
Mm-hmm.
They broke up. She had a new album.
Yeah.
She had a concert recently, and I
don't have that as a drop.
You probably should.
We got London on the track. That's London.
So, I would like you to play the link I sent you. This is a clip from her most recent show, and I don't know. Like, I saw this clip on social media. I don't know what caused her to say this. If it was just like a preliminary, just so y'all know, kind of situation, but let's play it.
Okay. Here we go. Hold on. Wait, let me just do this, and here we go.
We got London on the track.
Okay. Of course.
Okay, all right, in all seriousness, here we go.
Okay. I cannot sing that song, but I just want to talk to y'all for a second. For anybody who came here and was like, oh, she didn't do Reciprocate, she didn't do Circus, she didn't do Session 33, I didn't do a lot of songs from the new album. I want you to know that, you know, this shit is real. Like, I write a lot of my stuff, I write most of my stuff. And, you know, it's still a fresh wound. My baby, she not even one yet. And I ain't got time to be up here singing that shit, crying in front of y'all. So I sang what I could, and I hope that y'all still enjoy the show. So we're gonna get into this next one.
Okay, so essentially, there are some songs that are a little bit too close
Her
to the
whole
chest.
last album. So what people paid here to come to see, she said no.
Now, okay, so I am of the mindset to just say that I'm fine with that. Like, I am of the mindset of just like, listen, I dabble as a comedian. And
Don't say you dabble.
Fine. I consider myself a comedian. I consider myself an artist. And much like Erykah Badu, I'm sensitive about my shit.
Okay.
So I know that as an artist, you have a connection with the work that you produce.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And some connections are stronger than others. Some people can just like put out, you know, an infinite amount of things and not have too much like attachment to it. But like when you're a musician like Summer Walker and you're putting out strong resonant material that's based on your life, like I completely understand the idea that like it draws a strong amount of feeling and energy out of you, like that it's like it puts you in a state of mood. And she is contractually obligated to do these shows. She's already sitting up there on a fucking chair, so like it's not like she's, you know, gonna be, you know, like singing and dancing and like twerking and like doing all this like dance choreography. I know she never does that. That's not what she's known for. Because like hers is like the experience of like seeing her like catalog.
Okay.
And if her catalog contains music that is too emotionally resonant with her, then she as an artist has a right to say, I don't want to sing it because like if I do, I'm going to be like, that's a lot of emotional vulnerability to share in front of essentially a room full of strangers.
Okay, let me be Lucifer's lawyer real quick.
Okay. You're only saying that because you just got finished watching Lucifer. You don't want to say devil's advocate. You want to say Lucifer's lawyer. Yes. Lucifer, all 5 seasons available on Netflix.
It's actually 6. But
I wouldn't know.
You should watch it.
There's also like Stargate SG-1 on there.
And both of these things I've been telling you to watch them, so I don't know why you're bringing them up. Anyway,
Pyramids on Mars. Anyhow, continue.
I feel like, yes, she has all these emotions. But is there any artist that you can recall, and I'm thinking about, like, not these random, regular, we're just putting out music because a label saw us and thinks we're cute and we're going to put out something. But artists that you know who are seriously serious about the music, the emotions, they're pouring all their heart and soul into music. Whether that be Kurt Cobain, Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince, you know, even some would say like a Madonna, you know, would have perhaps thoughts of that. Since when are you able to go up on stage and tell people that your newest album that they have come there to listen to, that you're not going to promote it? And I think that part is very interesting to me. How are you an artist, but not even just this situation, but consistently telling your fans you're not going to work? Now, I think that this is probably a mixture of generational divide, because our generation, even though I think we have certain expectations that generation, what are they, Y? Z? We are Y.
No, are we Y?
Because
no, we're millennials.
Millennials and Y are the same. It goes X, Y, Z. So X is the people who were born in those 80s. Some of them are still millennials too, but they're still X because they're elder millennials or geriatric millennials, whatever they're calling them. We are Gen Y, fully millennials. And then there's people under us. I think that like the millennial bus stops at like 95, 96. Mm-hmm. And then after that is the Gen Zers or whatever. And I know that we sometimes will look at work differently and the importance of like hard work and different like traditional conservative views about work, etc. So I understand that, but I'm curious, like for her, why she thinks it's okay consistently to just not show up for her fans. Because when she says that she's on stage and she's having an anxiety or a panic attack or whatever like that, her mental health is not there, but she's still going to perform, but she doesn't really like give anything to the crowd. Even though people were like, oh, this is bullshit, I still stand with her because I'm like, I know what it's like to have anxiety and depression and things like that. And I know how hard it can be to really perform at certain levels when you are feeling like that. So I would never tell somebody who is dealing with that type of struggle, well, they just need to man up or whatever, or woman up, or them up to work. But I think that at what point are you just being, and I don't want to say this phrase flippantly, but like, are you just being dismissive of your audience? Because they have paid to see a very specific thing. You didn't tell them before they were coming up, well, I'm only performing from previous albums. They're expecting to get that one, and then to have, when you even hear when she's like, I know y'all want me to sing da-da-da, that person was like, yeah, we do. Because that...
Okay.
That's the expectation. If
Sure, that's the
Beyonce could
expectation.
perform fucking Lemonade about her husband cheating on her and the miscarriages she was having...
But
do you not think those things were fresh in her mind?
Then I think that this opens up the door for artists to take more control over their set lists. Like instead of seeing it as like, oh, well, nobody's done it before and Beyonce can go up there and experience all the bad things that she has and she can still put in like this like 5-star work rate. Like maybe this opens the door up for more artist control to be able to say like, hey, I am passionate about the craft. I do know that my fans are here to see me play. And it's not like they're not gonna see her play or see her, perform or anything like that. It's just that they're going to see her play the hits,
So
like most concerts, I would say that most concerts
they
cater
usually are
towards
the
the
hits.
side of playing the hits.
They
Like
usually are the hits.
I know for a fact that like it's only like certain artists where I'm okay with them playing like deep cuts. You know what I mean? Sure. Like if they're like a big enough artist, I will go to a concert and I will listen to them play the hits and I will not endure, but like I will still find some enjoyment with some like more like deeper cut stuff. But at the same time, like I think there is a valid point to be made for Summer Walker to say, hey, I know you're expecting newer stuff. It's not going to happen, but I will still play the hits from my discography. Like, in her body of work is long.
She has a great body of work.
She has a great body of work.
there's not been a album of hers I didn't like fully. I would say her albums are not on the level of like Beyonce or like Adele for me, where I listen to them and it's like a consistent, like I'm just listening to this all day. But I will say, she has not had an album where I'm like, I don't have any skips. So I think she's very talented. But I thought it was interesting because I saw Funky Dineva. He put out a post on his social media called her lazy. And I was seeing that sort of coming out. And I think that people are annoyed with Summer Walker because of like, this is not the first time she's given kind of what people are seeing as an excuse for why she hasn't shown up and performed. Because even, let's say before...
She's Lauryn Hill with anxiety. Okay?
That is a very good...
She's Lauryn Hill with anxiety.
She's with the anxiety without the years of like fans behind her.
Yeah.
Because she's very talented.
Yeah, she is.
Great songwriter.
Yeah, she is.
I love listening to her music, but I feel like I'm in two heads of this. Like I do think what you said about artists being able to have ownership over what they're doing and not being just these industry machines is important, because there are probably some artists who have very difficult songs that they've written and they don't want to perform them all the time, but they have to due to whatever contract. And I don't think that's fair either. But I think that is something you should really tell your audience before they're buying tickets, because I think that's something they should also have a right to know of, like, you know what? I'm not at a place to sing these songs just before you got, like, even if it was like before she got on stage, if there was some sort of social post, something. Because I think that people are feeling anti towards her response about this, because they're just like, how often do you have this kind of flippant, in a way, dismissive response to us saying, we're paying to see you and you're giving us crumbs, and that's a problem. But I think, we do have to, what you're saying, I do believe we have to give artists some sort of leeway to own their music and what they want to perform, because as an artist, it is very taxing to perform anything. So I agree with you.
Not to mention that, like, as if you are somebody who is a music goer, like if you're somebody who, if you're one of the fans who bought a ticket and had some sort of expectation, we are living in a post-Astral world.
Yes,
in which, like, there are people who, like, there's any number of expectations of what can happen at a concert. Now, I'm not about to sit up here and say that, like, a Summer Walker concert is the same as a Travis Scott concert, in which, like, people are gonna mob motherfuckers and mosh pit and everything like that. But what I'm saying is that, like, when you buy that ticket to see an artist, you are going with the expectation to see that artist perform their body of work. Like, whether it be the new stuff, whether it be the old stuff, whether it be, like, some unreleased shit, like, it could be a wide range of experiences, but as long as they are willing to show up and give that experience, like, then the ticket is paid for. You know, you got your money's worth, you know? Yeah. She even got, she could have easily sat there in her chair and just not played any of the new stuff and then just walked right off the stage. She spent the time to actually explain what she's is and what she's not going to do. So she at least respects her fans enough to at least give that explanation.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I think it's a mixed bag for me. I think that I want her to be able to say how she's feeling, but I also kind of just find it interesting that she continues to perform when she doesn't seem to like it, because she doesn't ever seem to like it. This is even having the baby. She does not seem to like performing.
Artists tend to make most of their money from concerts and touring and stuff.
And that is how they make most of their money.
Summer Walker honestly is the most relatable performer in my mind, because, like, I too just want to, like, do my art and get money from it without, like, the obligation of doing the stuff that I don't want to have to do, like the meet and greets and like, you know, taking the pictures and signing photographs and talking to people. Like, I would love nothing more. Like, if there was a world where I could just, like, be the biggest comedian in the world, right? If I could do stand up, get off the stage, and then just go straight home. That would, and then still make money, like, still make the most amount of money. Like, that would be the perfect world for me, you know? But instead, it's all this other stuff. Like I said, it's the meet and greets. It's like talking with regular people, like, you know, shaking hands and not knowing, like,
you need to invest in a lot of Florida water. If
you know, the motherfuckers, like there are tales of motherfuckers like going to the bathroom and jacking off and then going to shake the artist's hands.
No.
Yeah.
That sounds disgusting.
Yeah, leaving a little bit of you on them and vice versa.
Ew, why did you tell me that? That sounds terrible.
That's what it's like with, like, I'm not saying this is the normal, but I'm saying there's enough stories of outliers, you know?
Even if one person does that, that's disgusting.
Yes, it is I never said it wasn't disgusting. It's a disgusting fucking thing that I just said, but that's a thing, like, I would never want, like, and then you'd look prudish if you say, I don't want to touch the masses or something like that.
I would 100% say, I'm sorry, there's too much energy around me, I can't touch you.
I mean, yeah, you would.
I would say that's too much energy, I can't touch you. I'm sorry.
So
too much transference.
You would say transference.
I would have everybody have to spray themselves down with some Florida water. I'll have a what is those called? Air, whatever, humidifier thing. Florida water will be in the water, dispensing throughout the vicinity.
By the way, we're not sponsored by Florida Water. So you've mentioned them so many times that I have to point out.
Maybe we will be.
Are we manifesting that?
Yeah, we're manifesting.
We're throwing that out there.
Okay. Well, speaking of live performances that nobody. Well, these ones I don't know who actually cares to see it, but whatever. Your friend Kanye, aka Yee, had a listening party. Is it Ye?
Yeah, it's Ye. Why would it be Yee? Kanye?
I don't know why the fuck it's anything.
It's 2 out of the 5 letters in his name.
I thought it was Yee because his last name is. I mean, his first name is Kanye. I guess.
Kanye. It's Y-E.
All right, but
why would it be this?
Y-E to me sounds like Yee. I'm not paying attention to anything this man's doing. So
Well, ODI sounds like Odai, and ODE sounds like OD. So.
Well, my name is spelled ODE, so great.
Actually. I meant to say that the other way around. ODI sounds like OD, and ODE.
You know what you meant.
Sounds like ode.
But you said it right the first time.
The Alexa knows. Anyhow.
Anyway, so he had a listening party for Donna 2 in Miami. And it had a lot of people like The Game, Pusha T, Alicia Keys,
Jack
Migos.
Harlow.
Yes, Jack Harlow, Travis Scott, Future, some other people. He also was showing his new collaboration from Balenciaga for the Yeezy Gap line. And I just want to say, if you think that I'm paying $200 for a basic-ass Gap sweatshirt or hoodie, you have completely lost your mind. And that stupid stem player that you have to buy.
I'm not buying the stem player.
Like, there's no way. And not to say that this could possibly be an amazing initiative where artists now are going to start making their own players. But if you think I'm going to have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and also Apple Music, Spotify, and then how many other artists' personal whatever players, you have lost your mind. I will buy your CD. I'm not buying any other person's streaming anything because I don't care. I don't need it. And also, those streaming services, just like, I don't know if you remember a few years ago when people were complaining because movies that they bought on iCloud or Apple Music or iTunes or whatever, they don't like own them. Like if
well, yeah, like, you know,
they could, if Apple decides to take that shit off their streaming platform, you don't get any money back from that. Like, it's not yours. So
like with like audiobooks and like the Kindle books. If you like, you could buy it, but if they lose the licensing or the rights to it, they could snatch that shit away.
No,
from
thank you.
Yeah.
You think I'm spending $200 for something could you imagine having to spend $200 per artist for music? No thanks. I'm not doing it.
To be fair, don't you spend that much to go to concerts?
Depends on the concert.
Even still, you are spending putting a large sum of money to go see a in the grand scheme of things, a small amount of artists compared to Spotify or.
Here's a list of people that I will spend money for if they create.
Who are you going to spend $200 on?
Beyonce.
Of course.
Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay.
Adele.
Okay.
That's really the top 3 off my head.
Hotels.
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually she put out something else like a extra version called Mo Hotels or something like that.
Mo Hotels. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
There's like a few people that I would actually be like, ooh, I want to listen to so much of their music. Most people I don't care, so I wouldn't have it. I don't care. I'm not buying it. I don't know what you expect.
I want that to be my first comedy special. Motels.
I don't. Oh, do it.
Motels. And it'll be MOEX, like.
Yes.
Yeah, the way that she.
We're gonna do that. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get it popping, and I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, I'm game for that.
But Are you gonna buy a stem player?
Absolutely not. Like, first off, I didn't buy the fucking Oculus like that everybody was.
I do kind of want an Oculus.
Why?
I want one because I want to see what it's fun is like. Because I used to have it at one.
You are gonna fucking bump your fucking shins into all the furniture in your living room. You're gonna disorient yourself.
You don't know my life.
Yeah, I do know. I know enough about your life to know that, like, there's not a, you don't have, like, all right, so it'd be one thing if you had, like, a room that was dedicated just towards, like, the 3D experience. But you won't even have that. So, like, no, you should stay with not having this virtual reality here. No Oculus, no metaverse bullshit. Like, none of it.
Fine.
Invest your money in the things that you've already be investing your money in clothes and candles and shit. So,
first of all, you don't know my life. Okay? When's the last time I bought a candle?
I should have said crystals.
When's the last time I bought a crystal? You don't even know. So, I haven't been to Sunwind in a very long time.
But you know the name of the place to go get them. So you're not really disproving the theory, quite frankly.
Anyway, all right. Well, the stem player happened.
Mm-hmm.
Also in music, there's an update on this Meg Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez situation.
Yes, there is.
It's been bullshit. Okay, so if you remember, Meghan alleged that Tory shot her while she was at Kylie's house. This was in July 2020. Everybody has been on Tory Lanez.
Was it 2020 or 2021?
2020. It seems like it was just yesterday.
It seems like so long ago.
It does, yeah.
This was at the start of the pandemic because he was doing those, like, quarantine cuties bullshit.
Yeah.
It was
bullshit.
Sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
You mean when they were having people
quarantine
masturbate
radio
on live?
Like twerking and strippers and everything
That
like
was
that.
It was him and Boosie were both doing that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that happened recently. Academics posted something about the rapper or DJ Academics posted some bullshit about. Sorry, he posted something about the trial and all that, and Meg was like, "What are you talking about?" She posted up screenshots where he was Tory Lanez was apologizing to her. Tory Lanez said that he only was apologizing because he was fucking two best friends. So now he's alleging he was fucking Meg and whoever else her best friend is. And Meg responded, "Fucking two best friends? Nigga, you shot me. You know what's what. You were apologizing. You know what's what you were apologizing for. You keep putting the narrative out that me and my friend fell out about you, and that's not true. Why are you skipping over the shooting? Just admit you shot me because because she definitely ain't do it, and I ain't shoot my damn self." Of course, Partisan Fontaine, Meg's boyfriend, he jumped onto the Twitter streets and was like, "Tory Lanez, what's good?" But he just basically was like, "Calm down before I have to step on you." He didn't say that explicitly, but Partisan Fontaine is probably like a whole entire foot taller.
See, what I don't understand is that, I think, and this is, I need to word this correctly because there's an ongoing case going. It's not like it's not like this podcast would be fucking admissible in any fucking court or anything like that. But I will say,
never know.
Yeah, you never know. But what I want to say is that when I know that I have somebody that I have a falling out with, I'm not going to text them.
Not at all.
Not at all. Because that's not how you apologize.
Yeah.
That's just not, you don't apologize through text message. So sorry, friend who apologized to me.
What do we have to talk about off screen?
No, it's fine. You do that with a voice or you do that in person.
Okay, yes.
And if you live too far away to do that in person, you do it through voice.
Yes, and I prefer a FaceTime call.
I don't I don't know about a FaceTime
I prefer
call.
FaceTime because I'm like, I prefer FaceTime in general
blame
when I'm
you and fucking
your other friend.
not my other friend that I'm subtweeting. My other friend who has co-opted this, has ingratiated this idea of FaceTiming with me. Like, because I was super not on board with FaceTiming for the longest time.
You know I love a FaceTime.
Like, I went so long without ever having to show my face. And now all I do is just like, I hop on a FaceTime, they see my boogers, like, and they see like my disheveled face. And I'm just like, oh, now I gotta hold it up with the angles and make sure that
You don't need to have any angles with your friends.
Yeah, I know that. So
we're just calling to see your. I'm calling to see your face. I like your face in every situation. I have seen your face in a variety of ways. I like them in all, and you don't need to hide from me to see you. I just want to be. We're in our homes. We need to be able to connect face to face sometimes.
Well, anyhow, I just think that's the wrong way to go. If you're truly sincere in your apology, it's the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
And especially it's the wrong way to go to like try to do some gaslight bullshit.
Yeah.
Of just being like, hey, I'm sorry that I fucked your friends, when really you should be apologizing for shooting.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Allegedly.
And I did misspeak. I said that Academics tweeted this initially, but he came into this fight like while it was happening.
Yeah.
And he tried to say that
I think it was on his show.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't see that because Academics tweeted and then deleted a post saying that Tory Lanez DNA was not found on the gun, which a journalist who's been covering the trial for Rolling Stone, her name is Eileen Reslin, she says, fake news alert! Any reports of Tory Lanez DNA not being found on the weapon in the Meg Thee Stallion case are false. Today's pretrial hearing was postponed to April 5th, and that fake news tweet was sent out before the hearing even started. So, we will have to await April 5th, the day before your birthday.
Nope.
Right?
No, it is not.
Your birthday is, sorry. Just kidding. I have a lot of people's birthdays in April now that I've been jumbling up in my head.
Well, I'm not one of them, and
your birthday's not in April?
No, it is in April. It's not April 5th.
I know that. I don't think your birthday's April 5th. I said the day before your birthday.
It's not the day before my birthday.
I know that.
Okay.
I have now been. I've been in my head thinking about everyone's birthdays in April, and that was not yours. Lo siento. I'm sorry that the things pop up in my head. Okay. Either way, we have to wait till April 5th. And if Tory Lanez is convicted...
We don't talk lo siento, no.
Okay. If convicted, Tory Lanez could face a maximum state prison sentence of 22 years and 8 months. Now, as you know, I'm an abolitionist. Do I feel like he needs to get 22 years and 8 months? No. However, do I think he needs to do some serious community service hours? How the fuck yes. Like, if they gave him, like, 300 community service hours, I would 100% be down for that. I don't know how much 300 hours is, but I know it's a lot. Like, if he had
300, I had to do, like, 300 hours of community service for graduating from college, or...
No. We didn't have to do that for college.
We had to do a large amount of...
Now on purpose.
Oh, sorry, for high school. For high school. For high school. It was either 300 or 150. Either way, I just knew that it was a lot of fucking hours.
300 hours a day for like, 8 hours.
It's like 3 or 4 hours after school.
But if we divide by that by 8, which is about 8 hours a day, let's say, that would be 37.5 days. I think he should have more than that. $1,000 of community service.
That's such a light sentence for shooting somebody.
Well, I'm trying to think of restorative justice and not just him getting...
He's running around here like gaslighting.
I know, yes,
like,
but I still...
How is...
I'm trying
not
to
gonna
be
come
in,
at you.
I'm being
What I am
in line with my
questioning.
abolitionist principles.
I am all right, and I
don't feel
question
like
those
people
principles.
should be in prison just throwing them away. I feel like we have to figure out a way of restorative justice. I don't know how that looks like, but I feel like community service could be a start.
It can be the start, but it can't be the end.
Well, okay, 1 year of prison, the rest community service.
That's something, I guess. Like it's not nothing. It's not nothing. But at
Having
least
to
that's
like
something.
community service as a domestic violence shelter.
or even I don't know, being put on a fucking battery you harm
house?
women list or something.
I don't
Like-
know if they have one of those.
No, they
lists.
should.
They should for sure.
Yo, make that a thing. Make it so that there's a list where instead of registered, well, that's also keep a registered sex offender, but also we should have a registered abuser list.
I believe so.
Hey, if you move somewhere, you have to be hey, my name is Cardin, and I have to tell you that I just came up with a name just off the top of my dome, and I have to tell you I am an abuser, either a child abuser or a person abuser, what have you, any sort of abuse sort of thing that. You should have to be put on a list and be put on one of those apps where if you download it and then you put in your zip code and you see exactly how many are near you, then it terrifies the shit out of you. Which I did recently, and boy oh boy, this area. I always do that in everywhere I go, and turns out it's just fucking everywhere, flooding the streets like fucking Lil Wayne mix tapes from 2007. just fucking everywhere. But no, I think that I think that there, as I understand your restorative justice take, I think that maybe a year, some community service. I'd say 3 years. 3 years, 5,000 hours of community service.
All right, 5,000 works.
That's a lot
so.
of community service. Has to wear the orange jumpsuit at the side of the road on the highway, picking up trash. People in the fucking truckers throwing out pee bottles, throwing it at his head.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you do the crime, you have to get beamed in the head with pee bottles. That's just what you have to do.
I'm here for that. I will
there you go.
concede. Yes, those things. Speaking of throwing things at people, did you watch the NBA All-Star game?
We're going to work on these segues.
What is wrong with my segue? You throwing things at people.
Throwing things at people? This isn't football.
They
It's the
throw
NBA.
things at people. They have to
Fine,
throw the
pass.
ball.
They have to pass the ball.
What the frick is
When
the
you
difference?
think of basketball, do you think of throwing the basketball
You're
at another person?
You're throwing it at
You
someone's
throw
head.
it at the net. You
They're throwing
dribble.
it at someone's head. I don't understand what the problem
Maybe
is.
top 5 things I think when I think of basketball.
Well, think of more
But
things.
not the first thing when I think of it.
No. Well,
Throwing things at people?
I think about people throwing balls in my head.
I bet you do. NANI? I bet you do. I bet you do.
Anyway, did you watch it?
Yeah, we watched it
We
together.
watched part of it together.
Yeah, we were watching the ceremonies at
Yes.
one of our favorite bars. Not gonna say the name of it, but shout out to that bar where old blacks go to hang out and decompress.
You're definitely realizing
It's-
this is an old black bar.
It's cheers for the grown and sexy.
For the black, grown, and sexy. These are the people who love them a white linen.
It is a bar where you can look at the back of a guy's neck and see that little sausage roll.
Can you stop it?
As a where there's come on now, basically every dude at that fucking bar, I bet you, has a very particular set of barbecue skills when they man the grill.
They do. They're good barbecuers.
Yeah, they're.
We watched it there. But we didn't really, from what I remember, we didn't watch too much of the game. We watched more of the opening entrance.
Some of the stuff, because I think we saw some of the dunk contest, and that looked sad. We are far from the years of An One. Yeah. All of those extravagant, dunks and
it was boring.
Yeah, it was really boring.
Even Shaq tweeted the next day it was boring. And then we saw the 75 All-Stars come out.
Yeah, which felt like that took forever.
It did, and I feel really bad for those older gentlemen
whose knees have turned to fucking cartilage.
And they were having them stand out there for that whole
just
time.
Just hard cartilage, and they just have them standing out there. Like there were All-Stars who were broadcasting from like a green screen, like blank white room, and I was just like, how the fuck did they get out of this?
They were not available to come.
And you know what I was wondering? I wondered if the reason why they couldn't come is because they tested positive for COVID.
Oh man! Oh, I hope not. Some of them are old.
And then my mind wandered into, I wonder if they did that on purpose. If they literally were just like, I'm gonna go get COVID so that I don't have to stand there forever.
Yeah,
I don't want to go. I don't want to see the same like 5 people shimmying like while fucking Tim Duncan saunters on over there.
Oh man.
Like
it was a good whatever that part that we saw where they all lined up in a circle.
Yeah.
It was good. Okay, well, I saw these highlights. Steph Curry did 16 threes in the All-Star game.
And he got booed because he was trending at one point. He got booed because they were promoting the Steph Curry reality show on HBO Max. And they booed the shit out of him.
So that was it. I mean, honestly, I can't tell you much. I didn't really watch much else.
Me neither.
So
that's fine.
Good for you all. Whoever won, I couldn't tell. But y'all did a great job. Okay, now we're gonna push things off a little bit. We're gonna switch.
Boy.
Well, I'll do one more entertainment thing, and then I'm gonna switch real quick to politics.
Okay.
Excuse me. The NAACP Image Awards were this weekend, and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry received a special honor. They were given the President's Award. And so key things, they both wore outfits created by Black designers. She wore a blue ombre one-shoulder gown with a matching cape. I love a cape, always, by Christopher John Rogers. And the prince wore a black tux by Oswald Boateng. I think that's a Ghanaian name. So during their acceptance speech, she said, "It's inspiring to think about the legacy of the Image Awards, which began shortly after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were passed into law. Today, we can continue that legacy by reestablishing federal voting protections in our country and fulfilling the work of civil rights giants like the late John Lewis. We are so deeply humbled to be here in company of so many illustrious awardees." And then Harry was talking about the war, kind of, and he was like, "We would like to acknowledge the people of Ukraine who urgently need our continued support as a global community. I also echo the immense gratitude for tonight, both for this award and this community for welcoming me." So he meant the Black community. Thank you, Black people, for welcoming me so warmly.
What community could he possibly have meant being up there with his
He just wanted to say thank y'all for welcoming me to the cookout.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that I come from a very different background from my incredible wife, yet our lives were brought together for a reason. We share a commitment to a life of service, a responsibility to combat injustice, and belief that the most often overlooked are the most important to listen to.
Now, hearing that speech, do you think that there's any way in the world that fucking Shane from Love is Blind would ever go to like a banquet with Natalie and be like,
God.
thank you for...
No, because he would be completely embarrassing.
Thank you for acknowledging me.
It would be so embarrassing. He would pronounce everything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He would probably... Oh, God, no. Oh, why did you have to bring him into this special moment?
Oh, and a special shout out to Issa Rae and Anthony Anderson for winning Best Supporting Actor and Actress, respectively, in Comedy Series.
Oh, yeah, and shout out for Issa Rae for getting the key to the city.
Yes. So, shout
Up for you. But we, grateful that I think that Meg and Harry are like the total opposites of Prince William and Kate Middleton. Of like, one group is like, here, black people, we love you. And the other group is like, we will purchase black people to pretend that we like to show on our tours across Europe.
Yeah.
And I think that it's clear which one Diana touched the heart of the most. So here we are. The thank you, Meghan Markle, our Jamaican princess, both literally and figuratively, for making change.
Yes.
And Harry, gingers always will have a special place in black people's hearts because...
When you rearrange the letters, you know what you get.
Wow. Did not think that was going to be what you said, but you did. You did it. All right, so real quick, we have now in New York, Mayor Adams has ended school mandate. So beginning March 7th, there are going to be no mandates for New Yorkers to show proof of vaccination at indoor settings, provided there's a low-level risk. I don't know what the fuck that means because I feel like we're in a pandemic. There's always a risk, but here we are. And then do you have anything to say about the mask mandate?
No.
Unacceptable!
Thank you.
I shouldn't put those two buttons so closely together. But no. So I'm still cautious when I go out. Like, it's only relatively recently, within like the last month or two, that I've actually been going out on a semi-frequent basis.
Yeah.
Like going to bars, going to restaurants, going on dates, like. That's only been relatively recently. And it's only and it's only because the places that I go to, they still card. They still say, hey, show me your vaccine card. And I've always turned, I side-eye little places where they
don't ask you?
They don't ask me. You know what I mean? So I get the feeling that with transmissions being what they are, as a matter of fact, we just got a mandate from my job. I won't say the name of the company, but my job, they're saying we're free to go back into the office, go from a hybrid, and then we're gonna see for a while and slowly go back to every
you think
single
that your
day.
department's gonna have to do that?
Oh, hell no. There's too many people in my department. There's just even if they said, hey, everybody has to go back into the office, there's just too many people in my department for us to, there's just not enough seating.
Oh, yeah.
There's just not enough seating. So
if they told you to go in, what are you gonna say?
Well, compensation review is up right now, so I guess we will see what I will say in the next coming weeks.
Okay.
Based on how much my compensation will be adjusted.
I think that regardless, no one should have to be in the office every day. No one should have to. That's ridiculous.
I just don't want to have to travel on a train.
I
had to do that today to go to my old apartment, and
I was on the train. I've been on the train twice now in the last 2 weeks, and each time there has been someone with an unfortunate mental health situation. Yeah,
I just see like a bunch of people. I see more and more every time I take the train. I see more and more people who are just not wearing masks, coughing all over the place.
They're coughing. And it's
The trains are starting to get packed up again.
They're so packed.
I miss the times when this city was empty as fuck and there was like maybe 2-3 people on the train. It was a ghost town. I miss that.
I miss it.
I miss those days. But now everything is like getting back to some semblance of like the before time.
Yeah,
I don't like it either, man. Like the fact that I got on the train and I couldn't like find a seat, and I was just like, damn, man.
Yeah, and honestly, when I go on the train, if there's a seat between me and the next person, I always put my bag on that seat, and I don't care if you're looking at me in any way. Where you're not sitting here. Sorry. But once these mandates are lifted, people are going to try to push back on you. I don't have time. So that sounds terrible. But we do have a glint of good news, possible good news. You know that we are in need of a new Supreme Court justice. And President Biden has nominated Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson from the Washington, D.C. Federal Appeals Court. And she's a former public defender and has served as a judge for a decade after being nominated for U.S. District Court judge by President Barack Obama in 2012. So, what's her name? Senator Amy Klobuchar told Fox News that she's actually had more experience as a judge than 4 of the people who are currently on the Supreme Court. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing if we're going to get our first black woman to be on the Supreme Court justice. I feel like it's interesting because whoever Biden picks is not going to be someone that's like crazy progressive. But having a black woman on there is, I would hope, will not hurt.
I agree. Just like if we could stack up all of these firsts, the fact that we're still making firsts,
in
like,
2022.
In 2022, I still can't, like, it takes me half the year to adjust to what the year is because I still caught myself writing 2021 in some of my notes for work.
I'm just still in 2020.
Well, but shout out to her. I am looking forward to, hopefully this gets pushed through.
Yeah.
Hopefully nobody's dragging their feet like the way it with all the other nominees during Obama's era, and then like just speed running all those fucking old frat dude ass motherfucker when Trump was in office.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hope that this gets pushed through. I hope that we can get this achievement on board, and let's pull the trigger on this.
Well, just to give you a little taste of what she's up against, Tucker Carlson said that Jackson is only being nominated because of how she looks. Do you want to live in that country? Most people don't, of all colors. They think you should be elevated in America based on what you do, on the choices, not how you were born, not on your DNA, because that's Rwanda.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Yep, that's what he said.
That's all I got for old Tuck.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Maybe he can keep it in the Tuck and keep his opinions to his fuck himself.
He said, now maybe she's great. That's not the point. The point is she was picked because of how she looks. So what does that tell you about the nominee, but about Joe Biden? It tells you that he is absolutely happy to defile a system built by other people over hundreds of years. This is the best system in the history of the world, and he is happy to destroy it. Doesn't care at all. And I'm just confused because did we not elect, or not we, because I wasn't a part of that. Y'all elected Trump over because of how he looks and because of all the people that he disliked. And we're currently trying to defile the system of justice or whatever in America by overturning the election. So I'm just confused as to why they're constantly trying to pin on us the bullshit that they do.
No, that's just what they do. That's what it is, and their takes are whack. So
It's true.
I need to make these louder. So
You do.
That
You got it.
whack. Here we go.
But that's all I got.
All right, that's it. Okay.
You ready to take a break?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back with more of the
Black and Snurdy
podcast. I was
podcast.
about to say something else. I was about to say a different podcast, but this is the Black and Snurdy podcast.
You're listening to the Black and Snurdy podcast.
We now return to the Black and Snurdy podcast.
I tried so hard and got so far,
But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard I try.
Second thing, something. I couldn't tell you all. I only know the chorus.
I don't know. Why did I? Okay, fuck it. Hold on. Wait. One thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard I try. Keep that in mind. I designed a rhyme to explain it in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as a pendulum swing. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock ticks life away. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Okay, enough of this.
Thank you.
But you know what? I don't shut you. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. Okay, that's why I stopped myself. All right. Even I know my own awareness. Okay.
Good.
So that was In the End by Linkin Park.
Yes, it is.
And you can see them probably at that big ass festival for everybody who was super into Green Day.
It was called like Summertime or something
Bring
like that.
Bring back the night or some bullshit. What is the name of that concert?
Go if I had gotten paid at that time. It's like when we were young.
Yeah, when we were young.
Yeah, when we were young. And that literally every day my little sister is listening to some album from there and acting like it's
Is she okay?
Yeah, but she's always like, I'm in my emo phase. I'm just like, okay. The thing about the young kids is they're always telling us about
What
they're
phase
in
they're
their
in.
phase, and I'm just
Like we didn't also say that at some point.
But I never said any. I literally could tell you that I never told anybody.
You know what it
I'm
was
in emo phase.
during our time. This was a time when like we're living in a post like self-awareness, self-referential period. So like the generation below us is aware of self-awareness and is like clued into how they look, like, so because they're so aware of like their brands and everything like that. So like I wish I could tell you like that in high school I was self-aware enough to be like, I'm in my Laffy Taffy phase, or
because I was in the 2 snaps. Okay, I was doing it.
I was in my fucking backpack hip hop listening to Kanye, Lupe, and not Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi wasn't until college, but like I definitely was listening to like Lupe Fiasco and like a lot of neo
B.O.B.?
soul. No, not B.O.B. was also college. Yes, a lot of India.Arie.
I would say
basically anything that showed up on Neo Soul, like Music Soul Child,
of course,
and him and his sunglasses.
Did you
Anthony Hamilton?
Did you watch?
I did not watch. Well, they wanted me to pay that for that bullshit.
I told you they had stopped. Swiss Beast said he came back from vacation and said, "Guys, sorry, it wasn't me. I was on vacation and I turned it off. Now we're going back to Thriller and IG."
Wow.
But I watched it and honestly, you didn't.
It wasn't anything worth saying?
No.
Did they play Buddy?
He did, but it didn't sound good. So
probably
I just feel like I never had any of those particular moments because I
couldn't think of
living through.
Like, I couldn't think of any like. I can only think of maybe 2 Anthony Hamilton songs that were big.
Charlene,
and Coming From Where I'm From.
Yes,
that's it.
But he has a bunch of other ones that you just don't maybe unless you were listening to Neo Soul on VH1.
That one that's like Like, all my life, and I'm so high. Don't mean anyway, and now things are really all my life.
Just can't let go.
Yeah, can't let go. That's what it is. And so, like, I was just like, now we're really like kind of scraping the.
But the thing is, like,
of the
Anthony Hamilton, I feel like is
Cavassier
such
bottle.
a great black artist.
Yes, he is.
His songs, I won't say are mainstream hits.
No, they're not.
But if he's singing a song, I'm gonna like it. Whereas Music Soul Child, was he able to hit those notes? No, and he wasn't singing half the songs. The crowd was. He was wearing a very cute crop top, but
he was wearing a crop top. What's his
show
tummy
you.
look like? What's his tummy look like? Tell me.
It wasn't a tummy crop top. It was one of those. And then, in the
what
90s. What
other type of crop top is
Do you
there?
remember in the 90s where they would have.
Do you have this type of crop top?
I not anymore, but I did at that time. It was like, say, like a white shirt, and it had like a denim midsection crop top style. And then the rest of it was the cotton shirt. I'm going to find it and I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, because I want to see this, and I hazard to think what this was looking like.
It was looking like something.
All right, well.
But we are here to discuss something very important, very integral to our lives, and that is mental health. Because every week we figure out how each other's mental health journeys are going.
Well, don't you mean our mental health tour?
Our tours through the mental health zeitgeist. We figure out how we're doing. What things have changed, what things have stayed the same. And so how have you been doing this last week?
I'm not gonna lie. I've not been doing the greatest. My hunt for a black therapist within my network continues.
Yeah.
So I'm not, as much as I would like to, I do not have the budget to get a therapist and pay out of pocket.
Okay.
Right? It would behoove me to stay within my network and pay for a $30 session. But finding a black woman therapist has been tough. That's been in my network. But I have not given up. I have not quit. I'm still looking. It's just tough. And the search for said therapist, combined with just the additional stress of work, the stress of the world, being on fire, the general malaise that I feel with just kind of feeling a little bit listless right now. Trying to recapture my purpose has been weighing on me. Luckily, as my previous therapist said, like, I've been in therapy long enough to have the tools to be able to weather this period. I practice gratitude. I practice mindfulness. I don't indulge in, like, deep diving in the vices that I know that I probably could.
Yeah.
As far as coping mechanisms, I don't do that. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Luckily, I do have a support system. I have friends like you, friends like my other best friend, friends like, I'm going to have to.
You have a bevy of friends.
I have a. Thank you for cutting me off and preventing me from.
It looked like you would need some assistance.
Thank you. Yeah, I will. Okay. All right. So is this the crop top that you were talking about? That's what this little message is. Hold on. That's not a crop top, is it? That's just a long shirt.
You're gonna see it in person. It's a denim crop top with a shirt underneath it. It is.
That's not a crop top. That's just a long shirt.
It is a crop top.
That is a whole unit of a shirt. That's not a fucking crop top.
Okay.
There's no stop that. It's
denim
loose
crop top.
flowing. It's not a
denim
crop
crop
top. No, it is not.
I'm looking online.
What are you talking about?
I'm looking online to see if anyone else called it a crop top.
Yeah, please, because I'm looking at this. This looks like a whole ass shirt. This is a shirt with like a denim middle in it. This is not a fucking crop top. Do you know what a crop top is?
Yes,
it's where it's
I wear
out.
them constantly. Are you gonna tell me I don't wear crop tops? Are you gonna tell me I don't wear crop tops? I want you to fix your face on here and tell me that I do not wear crop tops.
So then, if you do, then I'm confused as to why you think this is a crop top. I think maybe you need to update your definition of a crop top. Okay? And you know what? And that's how I'm going to end my section of
First of all, let me just tell you
mental health.
The things that I've pulled when I looked on Twitter. It's the first, I said Music Soul Child crop. I didn't even put top. The first one says, we're not going to address Music Soul Child hoodie have G crop top. Why does Music Soul Child have on a hoodie crop top? Music Soul Child came in jeans and a crop top. He did not come to play. So I'm just saying, I'm not the only one that was here talking about it was a crop top. There's a whole section of Twitter.
First off, Black Twitter can't be trusted as a reliable news source, okay?
Why are you being racist?
I'm not. That's not racist. Fuck you. That's not racist.
Okay.
Miss me with that bullshit.
Okay.
How's your fucking mental health journey going? Because I did mine. I'm done.
Well, this little crop top added some joy that I've been sorely missing from my life this last week. I will say, I have not had the best week mental health wise, as I've talked to you about. A mixture of life, the fucking world burning, and yeah, it's just regular life, and then the world. I mean, we have not gotten a break. We have the pandemic. We have a alleged, depression and shortages coming. We have now a war, which will create more shortages and more inflation of the dollar. In whatever wherever country you are, it's going to be more inflation. We have just, the general pandemic and the stupidity surrounding the pandemic. So I can't say that I am feeling my tip-top best. I'm mostly feeling like I would prefer to be drunk and or high every day so I don't have to think about what's going on. However, since I have a job, I cannot do that. And also, I like my liver. So, also cannot do that. But I would say if I could completely disassociate myself from what's happening, that would be awesome. Because it just feels like there's a lot going on. And majority of it, we have no control over it. And I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. But I know that we cannot not talk about it or think about it. Because at the end of the day, someone said this recently. It's like as much as... it was the astrologer I like, Jessica Lanadu. She was like, when you don't want to be tuned in to what something that someone else is going through, you have to be mindful because sure enough, that could end up being on your doorstep. And it's like, I don't necessarily love, outside of the whole, like, I love history and politics in that way of, like, seeing, there's a war going on. What are the historical implications of this little war? Why are we where we are now? All that, great. I could talk about that all day. But, like, being in a war or hearing that there's a war and possibility, the fears of war coming on your doorstep is really frustrating and scary. Like, I don't know if you remember. Now, once I tell you about my dream, you're going to remember it. few months ago, I told you that I had a dream and it was like a zombie apocalypse and we were running around Brooklyn and I was trying to make sure I could find everybody. And I had told you that was way whenever that was ago. Don't think about it, whatever. Now, at the time, I was worried that it was a zombie apocalypse. And as you know, zombies are my biggest fear. And so as I became more and more obviously conscious of the fact we're not having a zombie apocalypse, because my initial fear was that the vaccine was going to mutate weirdly and some people would become zombies. That's not going to happen. We know that, and I know that, but it's just like 100% sure. We're great. Not going to happen. But now my fear is, ever since I've been remembering this last week that I had that dream, my new fear is that dream was, instead of talking about a zombie apocalypse, it was talking about like a bombing. And that instead of us running from zombies, we are running from Russian soldiers. And I know that is like, for a Russian, we are not Ukraine. We are far away from Russia.
Yeah.
So for Russian soldiers to be on American soil,
like some sort of Red Dawn situation.
It is funny enough that you even said that, because it's been trending on Twitter. But yes, for that sort of situation to happen, you would need to have Russians on the ground here and coming in, which by all, like, one, they wouldn't let any sort of like fighter pilots into our airspace. And our land space, we have a Navy. We have all these people that they're not going to get.
Yeah, there's a number of different defenses that they would have to bypass. Not to mention that even if they were to like come somehow bypass all of that, like, and not to be dismissive. I'm not trying to be dismissive, but like the drill scene would take care of it.
Yes, true. But you have to. And I know that you're not from New York.
I'm not. You're right. I am not from New York.
You have to remember that anything that happens in this country, New York is a prime target.
Yes, it is.
So, and this is not just because of 9/11. This is both fiction and fact.
We're on the fucking East Coast, on the Eastern Shore.
Anything happens
here in DC,
New York,
are like the prime.
DC.
If they want to make waves, if they want to like,
of course, because
make a statement.
Where are the places that you need to get out? New York has the commerce. DC has the government. Maybe Philly. Maybe because they have
the Liberty.
They have something. Well, it's like no one's really going to Liberty. They wouldn't be going to Philly before they went to New York. If there was, say, some crazy what are those scenarios called? Like Cold War scenarios where it was like bomb threats or something. Something games. What do they call them? Like
war games?
Yeah, is it war games?
Is it war games?
I think it is. I think it's war games. Say if they did a war game, New York City. We're not talking about Poughkeepsie or some bullshit. New York City, Washington D.C., the main DMV area are going to be the first ones to get hit. New York probably first outside of anything. So I don't think that it is that far-fetched for me to be fearful of Russian soldiers. And honestly, I'm not even worried about actual Russian soldiers, as I'm afraid of American soldiers who were, trying to topple the government on January 6th, that they would not be following their leader, Sir Trump, in fighting against Americans to let Russia in, because clearly we've seen when the war started, it's only been 3 or 4 days. But the GOP, a lot of them were like backing Putin and his invasion.
Yeah, they praised them for his actions or whatever.
Exactly. So you can only think that if there was something like the way that they can try to bulldoze themselves into the Capitol, I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, oh, Trump gave us word that we need to be standing with Russian forces. And it wouldn't even be something that I feel like would be enough to like topple the American government, but just knowing that we have a large swath of people from the American Armed Forces, from any of the military, any of the government agencies who other people in those agencies have flagged for being white supremacist insurgents and all that. Like, do you really think they're not going to listen to Trump if he says something? I believe it. So those are sort of things that have been weighing me down out on the world stage. And then, anxiety about my ongoing past work situation.
Is that still plaguing you?
It's been stressing me out.
I
got a letter.
Oh.
I didn't tell you. I didn't
No.
tell you.
No, this is news to me.
Oh wow! I thought I've been kind of.
You've just been dismissive of somebody that I went out on a date with.
I hate a fucking name.
Just because
Sorry.
of the name.
The name's terrible. I'm sorry. I can't help.
They're named after her old boss.
And you could see how I could.
They're not named after her old boss, but like they have the same name.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sure you're a lovely woman, but I can't get over it. I'm sorry. Okay? Either way, I got a letter from their law firm telling me to cease and desist. Cease and desist what? Couldn't tell you because I don't have anything to cease and or desist. But I did pay for a law firm to consult with me to write back. I hope that the hundreds of dollars that I've spent on this so far is enough to finish this completely. But also a reminder that we can't root for everybody black. We want to.
Yes.
We want to.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to remember that there are some black people out here who
are using their platforms to crush, like, I don't want to.
Other black people are trying to.
Yes.
Try to.
Yeah.
And just for the simple fact that they personally they dislike them. I can't imagine I mean, I can understand you disliking me as like, we have a different perspective of work and all that. You don't like how I was working, whatever the case may be. Like, I can accept that. But for you to have such a distaste for me as a person that you're trying to like scare me or ruin my life, it just sounds really, I'm confused.
Do you know if they got anybody to replace you yet? Because it seems like this energy could be spent to actually finding somebody to fill.
I did see a post allegedly
role.
They got an intern, and I'm like, wow, you got an intern? Because I was asking for one for you know how long I was asking for one.
Yes, I do.
And I got one for 1 month, and then that was it. So who the fuck knows if they're going to get someone to replace me. But if they do, I hope that person never asks for any help for anything, or else you too might be at the back of a vendetta that this person has towards you. But honestly, that's it. That's all of my woes. Not all of them, but those are the two main things I've been kind of thinking about.
I queued this up a few minutes ago. The moment has passed, but I still wanted to do it.
My world's on fire. How about yours?
There.
That's for. I feel like you could add that to the drops.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that because
I'm hating the fact that we have to live through yet another fucking historical moment.
Oh, that's all we've been doing for the last 5 years, baby.
No, that's all we've been doing for the last 32, 33 years. Kuwait, 1991. We were 2 years old.
Fucking even if we're not talking about fucking wars, we're talking about like historical shit. The start of the pandemic. Fucking all the marches and shit.
But just think of even just going back through our lives, right? I feel like our lives compared to our parents, like our parents, my mom was born in 1959. That was that was at the she's a tail end of a boomer. So she didn't have anything with World War II. She only had Vietnam. And Vietnam was what? Was it 5 years max?
I'm not the greatest when
Okay.
it comes to history, so you can't.
I'll tell you.
It's fine. Like, we don't necessarily.
But
need
it's
to-
like they had Vietnam,
yeah, they had Vietnam.
which was from. Oh shit! Was 55? Just no. That doesn't. That's.
But we're always living through some sort of history that's like turbulent.
It was 54
you know?
to 75, but there weren't people really being sent there until I feel like because my mom was young. I don't think it was
Whether
that
it's
long.
local
However
or
long.
but whether it's local or abroad, we're always living through some sort of historical event. Like
This is true.
like fucking Columbine was happening when we were babies.
That's
baby.
the thing. Like we literally we've had our parents had one big thing, Vietnam War, because none of our parents were alive during World War II.
Right.
So you had the Vietnam War, and then they had the Cold War, which was scary as well. But that's like I feel like two main things that happened during your
Yeah,
lifetime.
we were born during I
We
think the
have-
Cuban Missile Crisis or some shit.
Let's say if it was a Cuban Missile Crisis, and then that was during JFK, because Cuban Missile Crisis was a JFK thing.
Okay.
But Kuwait, that was 1991. And then we had Saddam Hussein. Then you have a Bolshevik or whatever. We have a bunch of shit in between though. In the 90s, we had a bunch of shit. The Armenian genocide,
Rwanda.
Saddam Hussein, Rwanda. Literally, there's something for everybody in there. Pick your continent.
Did you already say
There
the
was
Armenian
something.
genocide?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, my bad.
And then you go into the 2000s. The first thing right out the gate,
9/11.
fucking 9/11, which we again are alive for.
Mm-hmm.
Then
And
we
then
have
the
war,
Iraq War that
the
lasted.
war that lasted 20 years. We're still alive, and they just fucking finished it,
the continuation of the war on drugs that's been going on since like the fucking 70s and 80s.
and has always been fucking bullshit.
Yes.
Then every little thing. Then we have to think about in America. Columbine and all the other
All the various shootings, all the various
random
bombings.
public shootings.
Yeah.
Timothy McVeigh, we were like 5 or 6 when that happened.
Yes.
That the first World Trade Center was it 94, 93, 94? Like it was in a Biggie song, so we know it was early. Like our generation has not had a moment of fucking peace. And then everybody wants to look at us about why are we so whatever? Why don't we want to go on vacation? Why don't we want to work 10-hour days at work? We're fucking tired. Y'all had generations of people just able to live their life, go on vacation, go to brunch or whatever, and not be thinking about the constant turmoil that happens around the world. Because even if shit was happening in other places when our parents were growing up, like my mom was hearing about the Biafran War, which my father was living through the whole civil war in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
But like the amount of information that they had on that was compared to us, it was so low. You were only worrying about what was happening in your country and more so what's happening in your state. We are learning about every little tiny bit of information that's happening anywhere all the time. And I can't say that I don't dislike that necessarily because I want to be informed about what's going on. But also, it's just like, it feels terrible not being able to do anything about what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's those are the things that are stressing me out and causing me angst and agita.
Okay. Well, I will say, like, none of this dismisses what you've gone through and experienced and that you've told me about. It has not slowed down our want to travel.
Yeah. I mean, because I would say, like...
Because I'm over here looking at...
flights to Vietnam?
No, I'm looking at a certain friend who stays on a fucking plane all the time. Whose last post is from London, and this was posted, I think, today.
Well, I would say, like,
they've been in London the last few days or so.
I don't have a desire to stop traveling, and I want to say part of that is because, like, I want to
ask them if they pack and bring their ring light, because the lighting on these photos.
He probably did.
You know what? Everybody, go to Travel Dweebs on Instagram and ask her if she packs her ring light.
But I think like
Tell her that Black and Snurdy sent you.
it's like like I just feel like we should not stop living our lives. Like I would say right now, because we have conflict, of course, in Russia, I would not be like, oh, even though Russia is a place that I've been wanting to go to for a very long time. I feel like
Have you?
Yeah, I've been wanting to go. I was looking at grad schools in Russia. I just feel like it's a very interesting it's a very interesting history.
Yeah, the history is fucking interesting over there. Like, sure.
It's an interesting history. I didn't say it was glorified. It's interesting. Like many
There's
countries,
a lot of
have
other countries that are fucking interesting.
It is an interesting place. I want to try borscht. I don't like. That's it. These are the reasons. It's an interesting place. I read a lot about Anastasia growing up. I want to see the palaces. Yeah, I'm curious about the country. Sure. All right. I'm just saying it has an interesting history. All right. And I would like to see it. Will I ever go to Russia? At this point, no, because now, obviously, big offensive, and America's not a part of it. I don't think they would take kindly to be being there as a black woman, nonetheless. So, no. However, I still want to go to Europe. I know. Sorry. I'm still trying to go to Amsterdam. Still trying to go.
Oh my God.
I have water. I have water.
Fucking hiccups are.
I can't help what my diaphragm is doing.
I gotta say, you could aid it a little bit in some way, right?
Okay, I would like to still go to Amsterdam. I would like to still go to Germany.
1930s drunk with the hiccups.
I know, like right now, I would go to Germany, but I probably wouldn't go to Poland. Poland is right on the border. It's like not on the border, but it's very close to Russia. So those things, yes, but I don't feel like I wouldn't stop traveling the world just because of the possibility of there being conflict. I just wouldn't want to go too close to those areas where there's conflict. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. Well, that has been the
mental health
section of our podcast.
I hope that you feel enlightened.
And again, a reminder that we are advocates, not experts. Therapy and mental health are important. Take your meds, take your subs. You know, all the stuff that I say in the outro that has been changed forever. So, with that being said, it seems like we were already in the fucking gripes, but let's officially move right in there.
Bringing it. What? We griping. We're not griping anywhere else. We griping. This is space for us to share. We griping. We ain't griping anywhere else. We griping.
All right. Well, it's making you feel annoyed this week.
Well, obviously, in light of a busy week full of terror and awfulness in the world, much like every single fucking week, my scope is very narrow. Very limited to the things that I have personally been experiencing. Mm-hmm. And I just have to say, like, I am really tired of limited texters. I'm talking about all those individuals out there who feel it necessary to, if you are in a conversation, a back and forth, listen, everybody is not the best when it comes to texting. I completely understand that. Mm-hmm. Not everybody is good when it comes to the texting repartee. All right. And that's fine. You know, if you're better on the phone, than you are at texting, then let that be known and, lean into that. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can go the whole other way with it and be the kind of person who sends like a brick full of like 9 paragraphs worth of text messaging. And that's a different extreme that I'm not talking about right now. What I'm talking about is the people who will just send one-word text messages as a response. Like, there's no follow-up questions or anything like that. Like, if somebody... I'm not about to read my text messages. I should if I was a fucking monster, but I'm not. But what I will say is, like, if you... if somebody is just like, how do I... If you text... just one word text messages like, yummy, really, even better.
Is that the other person's response?
Yes.
This is terrible.
Hey, cool. Not much. Yeah, I'm just going through the various 1-2 word. Oh, nice. In April. Yeah. It is. I partied. Yeah.
It's very boring.
Thank you.
Sounds like the
sometimes
text for like a video game.
LOL.
The person that pops up randomly and it's like,
WBU.
please interact with me in person.
I'm trying. I hear that. Sounds like fun. Like, if you sound like the fucking old school, like, aim away bots.
That's what it does. That's what it sounds like.
That you have to, like, really acknowledge that you're not good at texting. You don't like texting. And you have to make that aware. You have to make that known. That's something that you should tell the other person who's on the other end of the text messaging. Because... it is exhausting trying to, like, my back is aching from trying to carry this conversation with this individual. And it is frustrating because I just...
It's all right, let it out.
If you don't like texting, just say that you don't like texting.
Okay.
But I will add, if you don't like texting, then maybe you shouldn't be on these fucking dating apps. Because that's literally the first thing that, like, you have to do. You have to have a conversation on the fucking dating app in order to translate into, like, exchanging phone numbers and stuff. And if you're doing that on the fucking, like, dating app, then why would anybody want to transfer to a fucking phone number?
Are you saying that with her, love is not blind?
Odie, I've said this before on this very podcast. We've got to work on your transitions. As a matter of fact, that's the name of this podcast.
I wasn't transitioning.
That's, well, you got to work on your segues.
I wasn't segueing.
Well, yeah, it's not a good tie-in. It's not a good tie-in.
I feel like it's a good tie-in.
If it's not a segue, then it's not a good tie-in.
I feel like it's a good
I'm
tie-in.
still saying that this episode's title is going to be called it's not a good segue.
All right. Fine.
But yeah, like I'm beset on all sides by bad texters, and it's infuriating. And I'm done with it.
Well, you only have one more day.
Okay, so for the listeners, I haven't made this clear. I'm getting off of all the dating apps at the end of fucking February. Come March 1st, I'm waking up in the morning, I'm getting on my exercise bike, and I'm gonna start doing fucking crunches and sit-ups and pull-ups and exercise. I don't know where my fucking pull-up bar is. It's somewhere in this goddamn apartment. I don't know where it went. It was lost in the move.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere. And I don't remember where I put it.
I don't remember where I packed it. I just remember removing it from my door frame, and I haven't seen it since. And I've been fiending to do some fucking pull-ups.
Okay.
But either way, I'm gonna just settle. I'm gonna settle on some pull-ups. I'm gonna settle on some on some push-ups. And sit-ups and exercise bike and cardio, and I'm gonna get my body into shape for the summer so I could be a goddamn thirst trap. And part of that will be deleting Tinder, deleting Swipe. Sorry.
Yep.
Deleting Tinder, deleting Bumble, deleting BLK,
Okay.
deleting Field. Which, as a side note, after this podcast, I'm gonna have a conversation with you about potentially being a sugar baby. But that is neither here nor there.
All right.
We will see what happens with that. It is unlikely that will translate into anything. But we'll see.
Okay.
And I'm deleting Hinge. I'm also deleting the Popeyes app. And that's only because the flounder sandwich has come back.
You don't want to taste the flounder sandwich?
I already did, and it's
good.
delicious, and I don't want to
Keep buying it?
I don't want to keep buying
It's
it.
delicious. It's the better sandwich out of...
It is better than chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it is.
It is delicious,
It's very good.
and I don't want to get trapped in that nonsense.
But I would prefer to get trapped with that than a chicken sandwich.
Well, Odie,
I know.
come on. The fact that I have a fucking Popeyes app, an app just for Popeyes,
Yeah.
because Uber Eats, and also Uber Eats, you're no longer in fucking Acorns.
And
All right? Which is upsetting because I used to get Acorns like investments
Yep. It's
into
upsetting
my
me and my
account
homegirls.
every time I placed an order with Uber Eats.
I was just telling someone how great that was. Even if I was like, oh, it's just 50 cents, but even you're still getting something. And then today, to go on the app and see how it's been removed.
It has been removed since the middle of this week. And it's
Disgusting.
frustrating
It's disgusting.
that they decided to it's as bad as when I found out that I only started using jet.com because of Acorns. And then they removed Jet. And then I started using boxed.com. And then they removed Boxed.
So everyone that
And
you
the
sign
last
up for,
bastion was Acorns. Uber Eats. And I thought, well, I'm supporting local businesses. I'm supporting these Uber drivers, especially during a pandemic, especially when things get closed down and everything like that. I'm tipping well. They're getting their money. I'm doing the right thing, and I'm getting a little something back. Now they're not even doing that. So now, if I were to place an order with Uber Eats, I now have to look at the fucking profile of this young woman, track them taking a largely inordinate amount of time, only to have some dude show up at the fucking door and not get anything back from that? I get nothing as far as like some sort of rewards, as far as like investments into my Acorns account. Fuck out of here.
Miss me with that bullshit.
I'm tired and I'm done. So enough of that bullshit. I've had it. And yes, if you could, please, drink a little bit more water. Because these early Disney movies hiccups, I'm surprised you haven't seen like a pink elephant. With as much as you've been hiccuping, I'm surprised bubbles haven't been floating out of your mouth. With how much hiccuping you've been doing. And that's it. I'm done.
Well.
Wow! On microphone!
I didn't do anything.
On the mic. You heard that gurgling?
I didn't do that on
Those
purpose.
onomatopoeias coming out of your fucking mouth.
Okay, first of all, I didn't do that on purpose. Okay.
I know it was involuntary. But I'm heated right now, and all of my responses are gonna come out this passionate.
All right. Well, I will. Wow. Okay. Well, I understand completely where you're coming from. And my personal gripe this week has been war. Because what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. If you were living under a rock, Vladimir Putin.
Oops, sorry.
Yep.
I didn't mean to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to type.
Vladimir Putin,
the
president of Russia, he invaded Ukraine a few days ago, and we have now been dealing with that on a worldwide stage. Ukraine is not a part of NATO, so we are not forced to do anything like putting troops on the ground. But we have been sending them care packages of like food, weapons, supplies, etc. And we are now putting like sanctions on Russia. Although found it very odd that we didn't have these sanctions go fully into effect the day of. We're also now doing a SWIFT. SWIFT is the international banking system. They are being sanctioned from there. It's just been very sad. And from right now, there have been allegedly 352 Ukrainian civilians who have been killed, 14 which have been children, and an additional 1,600 plus people who have been injured or wounded. So that's been stressing me out. But one thing that I've really been having issue with is the fact that even though we are in a wartime where everyone is seeking shelter and help, etc., anti-blackness is still, just bigotedness in general is at the top of people's minds. And I sent you a video. If you see it, it's of a American journalist talking about the crisis.
Did you send this to me via Facebook?
Mm-hmm. It's one of the
yes, you did.
I did. So, this, if you could, I don't have it in front of me, so you're going to have to read his name before you play it. Oh, I got it. It's a CBS reporter, and his name is Charlie something.
Now with the Russians marching in, it's changed the calculus entirely. Tens of thousands of people have tried to flee the city. There will be many more. People are hiding out in bomb shelters. But this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen. So it's partly human nature, but they are not in denial.
I would like to zoom in on the words civilized and European, because this apparently is how white people view conflicts that are happening outside of the West or like white Western countries. If you are in a European country, it should be completely baffling to you that there is turmoil unlike the black and browns you see throughout the rest of the in Asian or the African continent, because they're used to fuckery. But any of us, no big deal. And I just want to say to Charlie DeAgatha, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I just want to say, if you think that Europeans are more civilized than Africans, Asians, any other people on the continent, I want to remind you who the folk were who have been invading and colonizing people's lands for the past 500 years or so. Wasn't anybody else. It's a very specific group. So I want you to think about how civilized somebody has to be to steal someone from their home, transport them all the way to another place, and then brutalize them even further. Because that doesn't sound very civilized to me. And I really wish that white people in general would get this through their heads, that they are not some sort of like, there's nothing that's going to happen to anybody else that won't happen to you. So that's one thing. And that racism and bigotry is being shown even currently in Ukraine. There have been reports of African and Caribbean students and families who are living there being pushed back at the border. And I've been trying to keep up with these different stories while also being mindful that, allegedly there are some Russian powers that be that are trying to trying to cause dissension against supporters of Ukraine and pushing a narrative of like, oh, look how poorly they're treating the black people, et cetera, et cetera. So while being mindful of that, but also seeing the stories of people who are at the border in Poland, who the Ukrainian police are saying like, oh, you can't get through, Ukrainians first. And I just want us to remember that when we are in little chaos, how easy it is to still designate someone else as the other and not give a shit about them, when in reality we have to constantly give a shit about everybody. And if the Russian government is planting whoever around to try to put out these narratives, they definitely, people would believe them. But I think that as much as that's true, I think there is also a truth of anti-blackness is insidious across the world. And I'm just sick of us having to hold the brunt of the negativity that's going on, because the videos that I was seeing were very, very sad and triggering of like men, women, and children being shoved or pushed or yelled at to leave so everyone else can get on there first. And it's very sad and it's very wrong. And do I hope that the possibility that these are just fake news that Russia's pushing out to try to get, black people on Russia's side? Perhaps, but I feel like of what we know about people, it's more than likely that black people are just being treated as second class and not as deserving as everyone else. So that's really shitty. So that's my main gripe. Yes, main one is war. And the second one is just racism and bigotry, because it fucking sucks.
And again, to reiterate to Charlie D. Agata, G-D.
Agata.
What's this thing?
Apostrophe.
Apostrophe. Is that apostrophe?
I think it's apostrophe.
Hold on. Because, all right, there's colon. What's the high colon?
Comma. No. Apostrophe.
No,
It's
sorry.
apostrophe.
Comma. All right. No,
It's a
not
comma and
colon. Colon is the two dots. Semicolon is the dot with the
It's an apostrophe.
comma, and then there's a comma. So what's the high comma?
It's an apostrophe.
Okay, so then D apostrophe A-G-A
Dagata.
Dagata. Yeah, Diagata. So again, to Charlie Diagata. There. I'm also gonna get that as a drop.
Are you sure you want to get that as a drop?
What else? Like,
we just talked about.
I can't get another. There's nothing. There's not. At least for me, I can't think of another "fuck you" that like sticks into my brain. And that's not me giving them a pass or anything. I'm just saying I can't think of another.
I can't either.
Clever
but we can't
fuck you.
we can't have that fuck you and then not have dive in, because what's the difference?
Fair.
And I'm not saying that I want to have dive in. I'm just saying what's the difference.
Fair. Okay.
I'll let you have it this time. I just want you to think about what's the difference.
Well, thank you. Thank you for putting me in a fucking place to consider.
I just asked
my actions.
I just asked a question.
No, you're right. It's cool.
And
I looked for that too. Like,
I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
We just talked about it when we heard the song not too long ago.
Well,
I didn't think you would have.
I couldn't think of anything that was like a.
But I mean, fuck you. Fuck you,
Yeah,
Charlie.
that's the main thing. The main thing is fuck you. So that's been all the gripes. Let's move on into the things that made us happy.
I'm the baby merchant. Tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant just a week or two. I'll have your baby for you.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
So today, as we are recording this, obviously this is going to come out way after the point. But as we are recording this on this very day, this is the born day of my nephew. Shout out to Gavin.
Happy birthday!
He is turning 15 years old today. He is born on this day. He is a clever young man.
Mm-hmm.
And with each year that passes, I grow more and more proud of him.
No.
And I want to make that clear. If this reaches him, I want him to know that he's got an uncle who is looking out for him. That is watching him, that remembers when he was just a baby.
Do you call yourself a bunkle?
A broke uncle? No.
No.
What is a bunkle?
Because gunkle is gay uncle. And a bunkle.
A bi uncle. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't call myself a that would be a, what would that be?
A bunkle.
That wouldn't be a bunkle. That would be a bunkle.
Who's going to say bunkle? A B, just use the B.
A bunkle.
Why? Who is going to say
Who's
all
going to say
that?
bunkle?
The same
Who's
people
gonna
that
say
say
uncle?
gunkle. I don't know.
There's more visibility over there when it comes to gunkle. So no, I'm not going to call myself a fucking bunkle. I'm going to call myself an uncle. I'm going to call myself the if anything, I'm going to call myself a kunkle. Like, I'm going to
Why?
Crazy.
Okay.
Crazy uncle. A crunkle. Oh my God, yes! I'm gonna call myself a fucking crunkle.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, that is exactly
Crunk uncle.
Yes.
Yep. We got it.
I'm gonna call myself a crunkle.
Uh-huh.
That is my new nom de plume.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna, not only that, but you done fucked up, because now I'm gonna lean into this.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna lean super heavy into being a fucking crunkle.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right. Shout out to my nephew. Happy birthday, Gavin. From your crunkle. Yeah! What? Okay. Let's go. Okay, enough. But no, this happens to be the weekend that, again, my family went down to help my sister move. My sister has her own place, has her own home, has her own house.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
It is.
So on the weekend of both my sister having her own home and my nephew being born all those years ago and celebrating his born day, I say, what's up? And that's what's making me happy. Also, the other thing that's making me happy is that I am heading into conversations. So we shall see what the next few weeks will be like.
You're heading into compensation
conversations.
Okay. Yes.
So, yes.
Okay, great. We'll love that.
That's what's making me happy.
What is making me happy this week? Well, Well, number one, doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number one thing because I always enjoy recording with you. And I will say the other thing that's making me happy, I am taking my mom and my little sister to North Carolina to see my older sister. Thank you. I was able to purchase our tickets, and we're all going. My mom is going to be very surprised because she doesn't know where we're going yet. And so that's a great thing.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing.
That's
and
it.
I'm sure you will have a fun time.
I will.
Are y'all taking a plane, right?
Yeah, we're flying.
Delta?
JetBlue.
Ooh, look at you.
You get the free snacks.
Using your JetBlue points.
Yep, you get the snacks.
Ooh, look at the points that you get when you travel from Nigeria.
No.
Often.
No.
And by often, I mean like once a year.
No.
You get those points, those traveler points. I don't catch planes that often.
I can see.
It's mostly, I've stayed mostly on the East Coast. The only time I travel is to Barbados. I was supposed to travel to Arizona and Chicago and Seattle last year for festivals. They didn't happen. And Atlanta. I was supposed to go to Atlanta. They didn't happen.
You can still go to Seattle. I've been trying to go.
Why? What? Like what?
I don't know what's there. I just want to see it.
You just want to see Seattle?
Yes.
But you don't know what's there.
I mean, there's trees.
There's wind.
There's trees.
Yes, there's trees there.
That's it.
That's
all I
it.
care
You
about.
just want to go to see fucking.
I want to go to
rainy
see
ass
the
trees,
parts of the country that
fucking
we're never really at.
Kurt Cobain trees.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Cobain trees.
Anyway, the mother of grunge is a black lady.
Okay.
So why not learn about our black history over there?
Well, we still have time. We have another day. So.
Well, is that all you got?
That's everything that I got.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
And we will be back next week with another installment of the Black and Sturdy podcast. Thank you for listening. And until then, take it easy.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snurdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snurdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorice is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD THATSOD.E, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Sturdy podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.